Hey guys, it's Krishantiw with Krishantiw.com talking about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. And I wanted to share with you guys my recent experience at a place called Lilydale in upstate New York. Lilydale. It's a spiritualist community. And spiritualists are, I guess it's like a religion, is spiritualists communicate with spirits. And so this beautiful community was it's made up of a bunch of mediums who work to deliver messages to people who are living. And I've said this before in other videos. So I learned how to be psychic. I'm super clairvoyant. Work hard to be tuned in to keep my vibration high. I'm also uber sensitive, like not in a good way, like I'm too sensitive, so I can sense a lot of different things. And I didn't realize or think about going in like just how intense the energy would be there. Basically it's this place, and it's a gorgeous little hamlet or kind of place in upstate New York. Like there's a beautiful lake, and you go in, it's like a community, like a gated community with all these cool old Victorian houses where mediums live. And then in the summer, they invite people to come in, and you can take all kinds of classes. You can just go enjoy the grounds. You can participate in the group message delivery kind of thing. You can get healings and all of that. There's a lot of stuff that you can get that's pretty much free, like you pay this gate fee, you go in, and you can go to different gatherings. They have them all throughout the day where people kind of mass together, and then like 5-10 mediums will kind of stand in front of the group and just deliver messages to everyone. And it was beautiful. Sorry, I'm like thinking about what to say, because I just made an entire like really long 20-minute video about it, and then I was looking back. I'm like, wow, that was great. It was so long, but let me look back. And I look back, and there's like a red lipstick on my teeth. So I had to do this over. So I'm like, maybe I can do it over and say it better than I was saying it before. I was really excited going in, because I was like, it's too long to get into how it all worked out, but I was like, yes, I get to do my work and check this out and everything. It was just really fun. I was excited. And then when I got there, I was like, oh wait, like at first I was like, yes, I'm so excited, I can't even believe it. And then when I went in and I started going to the group kind of things, I didn't need to take any classes that the classes offered when I was there weren't anything I especially needed at that point in time. But I participated in like the healing, which was awesome. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then these group services. But I started to feel like this weight and this heaviness. And yes, the place itself is special, is very charged, very spiritual. The mediums are, of course, legit. There's no question in my mind. And I want to talk a little bit about how difficult their job is, and how I wish people would just stop being so skeptical, and especially going to a place like this where they're demonstrating mediumship like for free. I mean, anyway, the heaviness was, what I was picking up was like the people who are so sad, and something to think about. The people going there, a lot of them are in need and have suffered horrible and tremendous loss. There's sorrow, and as highly charged as a place can be with energy, it's hard to eradicate that level of that depth of sorrow. And in those group meetings where everyone's getting messages, there's like the people who are getting messages and kind of like accepting, and sometimes they're like a deer in headlights, and they don't know what to expect. And then they're getting this message, and they're like trying to process it. And then you got all the people who aren't getting messages, and how sad they are. Or I don't know. I think you get what I'm trying to get at here. I do not like the spirit realm. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just not not for me, because I am so sensitive. I'm not, and that's a good thing. Like people who are adept at this and really want to do it are the ones who are doing it. And if you're not, like, just because you're psychic, just because you're clairvoyant, doesn't mean you have to talk to dead people. And so the other thing I felt too was, it's not only the weight of all the visitors who were, no one was like doing a jig, and I was so excited. I was hoping we needed more of that. And some of the mediums said that when they would get in front of the audience, they'd be like, let's raise the vibration, like let's just laugh a little, have a little fun, open up. And people were like, like the visitors. So you got all the people who are heavy and scared and not really like filled with the light, because they're more like bummed out. And then you got all their spirits around. So that was the part that there was legitimately no doubt about it. That place is chock the fuck full of spirits, like chock full. And as a sensitive person who's like, can you only imagine just witnessing and feeling that energy. It's kind of funny. And I wish I had been there with a fun friend, because there was a lot of opportunities to, in a nice way, not in a mean way, but to have some laughs. But the thing is, what I want to talk about too, which it's so hard when you do a whole video and then you're like, you have to say it all. Let me explain to you. I guess I'll go back to talking about what it was like. So from a spiritual point of view, to me, it was like going into Disneyland, and you're so excited because like it's full of psychics and mediums, and it's on this gorgeous lake, and there's these old Victorian houses, and they've been doing it for over a century, and it's like, oh my God, so historic, so steeped in history, so rad and so awesome. But then it turns into like you're at Disneyland and you're stuck in the Haunted Mansion and you can't get out, which the Haunted Mansion is eerie and creepily beautiful, but it can get, you don't want to go to Disneyland, only be at the Haunted Mansion. And that was my limited, like, sort of that experience, again, as a sensitive person. What I also had wanted to talk about or make a note of is how difficult this work is on mediums. Like, imagine these men and women standing in front of a room full of people, and then like all these spirits are lined up to talk to them, and then it's the bossiest, loudest one that you have to talk to. And that's what they say. They're like, it's the one that's like right in front of my face, like that's the spirit I have to talk to. And then the spirit's like, that person, that's the one, I want to give a message to that one. And then you're like having to do that, and then you have the disappointed people, or maybe they're not hearing what they wanted to hear. Like, could you imagine the weight of that alone, in addition to all these other spirits trying to come through? It's like being a translator between the realms. Like, they're walking this line between the world of the living and the world of the dead, and translating and delivering messages. What I thought a lot about, and I need to do some pondering on, and I guess try to figure it all out, was why is it that they're still around? Like, those spirits are still around, because when I die, I hope to God that I cease to exist. Like, I am no longer Krishanti. I'm not here. I'm just merged. I'm like a little itsy bitsy, like teeny tiny speck. And I hope that when this goes, my speck just becomes one with everything else, like with the light, and just, I don't want to be in this like airport lounge, like waiting to deliver messages to people who are still alive. And I think that's individual to every person. So that's my belief and my hope and my whole thing. But it made me wonder, like, why are they in this limbo, like, and so waiting to talk to people. And I'm almost sad to talk about it, because it really, if I think about it a little too much, it really does unsettle me. And I would hope that the spirits would eventually move on. On the other hand, though, something we really have to think about is the fact that time is very different for us. Oh God, it reminded me of that movie. Was it The Others with Nicole Kidman? It was so creepy where they didn't know they were dead for the longest time. Oh my God, that was really good. I'm getting the chills. That was like Lily Dell, right? Like, you know, maybe you're dead and it's like 100 years on earth have gone by, but it's really no time at all where you are. And then maybe there's a light that comes and you just, or you just go somewhere else. And maybe that's how it works. You know, spirit also is not limited by space or time. So, however, in that group setting where a medium's delivering messages, it's allowed as spirit. But I have seen or know that even when someone's reincarnated, their multidimensional consciousness can still communicate if that's needed. They can still be present, or you can still like deliver hope or a message or something. But that wouldn't be the loudest one to step forward in a sort of group platform mediumship demonstration type of setting. So, you know, I'm trying to think of what else to say about all of that. It was over the top something. Of course, it's without a doubt, hands down, as a psychic sensitive person, it is thoroughly reputable and 110% genuine, legitimate. The people there are in service. They're working hard to help. And that is, for someone like me, that work would be almost too hard. If you want to go and check it out and see what it's like for yourself, by all means, go and see. If you're really sensitive, I probably wouldn't stay there. So I was cracking jokes to myself about like the hotel in there, the Maplethorpe, which is really old, ever so slightly creepy. I'm just going to say it. Ever so slightly creepy. I'm glad I didn't stay there, because not only do you have all the spirits hanging around that place, then you got the people who are there, and then you got all their spirits. It's just like an international airport for spirits. That's what it's like there. I stayed at the Llewellyn, the hotel across the street, which was old also, a little less creepy. But a very cool experience, really very interesting. And I don't know what else to say about it. There are different places on the planet where different things are going on and different types of energies. And I live in California. I live in LA. I like to go up to Mount Shasta. The energy there is very like intergalactic, ascended masters, root chakra of the earth. Like you could feel it. A lot of really sacred Native American land. That's what it is. There's this Panther Meadow. It's like this healing place, and like you're tuning into more of like what I've noticed psychically is the energies that come through on this side of my brain, like the different sort of dimensions. And that replenishes my soul. Now this place, Lilydale, is the international airport of the spirit realm. So where all the souls are in this, like, waiting for God knows what, waiting for their flight, off to some other place, and like, oh hey, there's Bob over there. Oh, tell him, check the air in his tires. You should get out more. That kind of thing. Like it's like that. But I would say too, just let's give mediums a break. And for a long time I didn't know, like I wasn't sure, like are mediums telepathing the info? Like are they just reading your brain and reading your mind and picking up data that was significant or symbolic to you regarding the person who died? Or are they legitimately communicating with a spirit? And now I know for sure they are, not just through that, but through other experiences too. Like that is around. But if you're like me, I had a hard time. It was too heavy. There was so much sorrow from the visitors and everything. And as a sensitive soul, I was talking to a psychic friend about it, and I was like, all these spirits were like, they were actually trying to talk to me too, because they're like, oh, hey, you, I see you were able to do this too. Well, let me tell you something. I want to give her a message. I'm like, no, I don't know you. I can't see you. I'm not here to be doing this. Like, I'm just checking out the scene. but they like they I felt it, like somebody trying to get into, I'm all stuttering because it's kind of scary to me, but I know you don't need to be afraid if you're filled with light, and that's great and everything, but I'm also realistic, and I know what I'm afraid of, and like I know where things like the things that make me uncomfortable. Okay, so like my friend was saying that they'll see your light and they all want to talk to you, and like they'll try to plug into these telepathic channels like on the back, and I've felt that hardcore like headaches. I don't get headaches, and if you're doing the psychic stuff and you don't get headaches either, and then all of a sudden you start getting headaches, you're experiencing the wonderful phenomena of spirits trying to plug into your telepathic channels and communicate through you. And if you are not in the right setting, you're not all set up, you don't have all your tools, you're not like, okay, I am now going to sit down and do this, it can be nauseating and overwhelming and stressful. And in this trip, I was very much on the go. In fact, I was there 2 nights alone. Then my husband and son came from, we were all in Michigan, then I went off to New York, and then we all like met up. So they came in, and so we were on the go. If I had been like by myself, I would have gone off the ground somewhere and like just meditated for a really long time and like clear. But this was more like on the fly. I'm like, oh no. And I had this stuff called, there's probably another whole long story. See, I start talking about this and I just start rambling on and on and on because there's so much to talk about. But there's a beautiful place called Hemlock House on the way there, and the woman there is like a total kindred spirit, witchy person in a good way, very natural, down to earth, and she had all kinds of cool stuff. And I got some cascarilla, which is powdered egg white shells, which is used in some indigenous religions and belief systems. So you take this cascarilla and you like put it on your, it's kind of like protective. You put it on your channels, and like it kind of creates a barrier if you're like on the fly, you don't have time to meditate for hours and hours and hours. Even just thinking about it now, I start to feel like a little bit drained. That's one of the downfalls of being super sensitive, and so you want to like protect yourself and take the time you need to get clear. And I feel like that was I don't feel like the people at Lily Deal, like running the whole thing, that's not their game. Like they're not like, I don't think they're encouraging that. I think that because it's like they're opening these portals. What I'm saying is they're not like encouraging pesky spirits to go talk to everybody. It's just, this is a place where the energy is really high, and they're doing their work, and they're just like letting it flow. And then those of us like maybe you and me who are extra sensitive are like, but it's very fascinating and interesting. And again, this is another long, I look at the time, like rambly video, but it's definitely worth checking out, and it's definitely cool and legit. And I want to close by just saying that I've got mad respect for mediums, because they have to work with people who are so down and so sorrowful and so hoping for like the right words and the right message. And so the mediums, and then they're translating, they're like cosmic translators, and they're like, I hope the spirit's giving me the right message, and then you're delivering it, and then you've got the person stuff, and then you've got the spirit's emotions. It's like, wow, what a job. Like, can you even imagine? It's very taxing. It can be very taxing on the body. Like old school mediums in the olden days, they were pretty hefty, like a heavy set, like to ground themselves in, like to ground into their bodies, because some of these spirits do want to take over your body, and that's creepy. I was joking, I just had a lot of jokes to help brighten myself up, and I was joking about like, if I did a hashtag on it, I'd be like, not creepy at all, like hashtag not creepy, But there were little pockets, there are pockets in there in the woods where the other kind of spirit lives, like the great spirit. And when I say great spirit, I mean like, you know, like more like the God energy and the angelic energy. That is there. But the masses, like the Home Depot of like talking to the spirits, like all that can kind of like distract from it. But if you go and you just spend time in the woods, you can get more of that other stuff too. It's pretty fascinating. That's my diatribe. And if you're interested in psychic development, you don't have to talk to spirits. You just open up your clairvoyance, your intuition. I've got lots of meditations. I have workshops and all kinds of cool things on my website, and also lots of other videos on this channel and on my website as well. So thanks for watching and for bearing with me as I rambled on and on and on. I think that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.